Best local dishes from London. Try some famous food locals love to eat in London. The best foods in London. As one of the most diverse cities in the world, London's culinary scene offers an eclectic mixture of British classics and modern, multicultural cuisine. London, the UK's capital and one of the world's most popular tourist destinations, is home to culture-rich ethnic communities that speak over 300 languages and dialects. Multiculturalism is woven into many aspects of London life, and accordingly, restaurants reflect this in their representation of favourite dishes and tastes. But if you think that food in London is all about immigrants and their traditional recipes, you'd be wrong. Reliable and comforting British classics are still ubiquitous, especially in pubs. In this article, we aim to take you around London and share the nation's favourites, honourable classics, and also authentic ethnic food which we believe all visitors, and maybe even locals, should try in this great city. English breakfast. There's no better place to get an English breakfast than England. Often called a full breakfast, this traditional meal is rather substantial, with bacon, sausages, eggs, hash browns, baked beans, tomatoes and mushrooms all laid out on a big plate. Sometimes you get a side of buttered toast too. While Britain's history brought about many changes and different trends, the full English fry-up has remained a staple of British cuisine and identity, enjoyed among the gentry and the working classes alike. Fish and chips. For any international visitor, fish and chips are a must-try. This British favourite, battered snow-white fish paired with fluffy chips, liberally sprinkled with salt and doused in vinegar, has been well loved since the 1800s. The origins of this dish are contested. Some credit a Lancastrian named John Lees who opened a fish and chips shop in 1863, while others argue that Joseph Mullin, a Jewish immigrant living in East London, sold fish and chips even earlier in 1860. No matter which version you believe in, there is no denying that fish and chips are hugely popular, not just in London but also across the country. Sunday roast. Another tradition of the British Isles, the Sunday roast consists of meat slices, beef, lamb or chicken, roast vegetables, usually carrots, parsnips and potatoes, Yorkshire puddings, a savoury, batter-based pastry, and gravy. In the past, it was probably the best meal people would have all week, and they would use the leftovers in the following days, as cold cuts or in stews. Toad in the hole. I'll be honest, I had a bit of confusion about toad in the hole, which I thought referred to cooking an egg into a piece of toast. It turns out this is the American dish, but the British version is entirely different, though uses a similar concept. Also called sausage toad, toad in the hole is a traditional English dish consisting of sausages cooked into Yorkshire pudding batter, usually served with onion gravy and vegetables. It is not a breakfast dish like its American counterparts, and is instead an alternative to pies or bangers and mash for dinner or supper. Originally referred to as meat boiled in a crust in late 18th century cookbooks, nobody's quite sure how the name transformed into the current version, but it's not super common to find on menus and definitely worth seeking out if you want to try all of the best London foods out there. Bubble and Squeak. Perhaps less commonly known than some of the other great foods on this list, true connoisseurs of British food will want to seek out Bubble and Squeak, a staple of peasant food that dates back to the mid-18th century. Made of cooked potatoes and cabbage and fried with animal fat or butter into small round cakes, Bubble and Squeak has become a common holiday dish in the UK, as it's great for using up leftover veggies from a traditional Christmas feast. It's also a popular way to use up the veggies left from Sunday roast, so it's worth checking with any restaurant where you see that on the menu to see if they offer it. Pie and mash. Pie and mash is another quick meal that consists of a minced beef, pastry pie served with creamy mashed potatoes. It is typically eaten with a signature parsley sauce called liquor sauce. Known initially as traditional working-class food, pie and mash can be traced back to the Victorian era where workers needed hand-sized, cheap, transportable meals. The pies came in handy as they were sizable and easy to carry around. Jelly deals were also an everyday working-class meal back then, which led to an increase in the number of eel and pie shops in Great Britain. You won't find many, or any, eel and pie shops anymore. But if you do, let me know. Bangers and mash. I don't know if I can choose favorites, but this might be my favorite London food. Also known as sausages and mash, this traditional London dish is easy to make and has been around for centuries. Popular in Great Britain and Ireland, bangers and mash consists of flavoured pork, lamb, or beef sausages served with mashed potatoes. It is usually served with onion gravy and can also include peas and/or fried onions. Mostly served in pubs, it is difficult to resist the succulent sausages embedded in a delicious, creamy pile of mashed potatoes and fragrant onion gravy. Due to its popularity, this pub grub has been listed as Britain's most popular comfort food. It's definitely good to warm up and refuel if you get caught out in a London rain shower. Cockles. Cockles are a delicious shellfish cooked and seasoned with malt vinegar and white pepper. It's a popular street food that was traditionally found in East London. Today, this delicious seafood meal is a traditional Welsh staple. It is usually served with bacon and laver bread, not to be confused with actual bread, at breakfast. In recent times, cockles have been packaged and sold in sealed packs to be eaten on the go. I definitely saw them at Waitrose when shopping in London. If you love seafood, you should try this unique London food. Scotch eggs. What are Scotch eggs? In a nutshell, or should we say eggshell? Cooks coat sausage-covered boiled eggs with breadcrumbs and then fry them to create a crispy exterior. London's Fortnum and Mason claims to have invented the popular to-go item back in 1738. True or not, the Tony department store is a great spot to try a Scotch egg or two during a busy day of sightseeing. You can also buy Scotch eggs at London markets and convenience. Savoury pies. Thought to have been invented in ancient Egypt, pies might have been introduced to England by the Romans in the 12th century. For many subsequent years, pies helped the nation tackle the food storage challenge. In the days where refrigeration was inconceivable, pie pastry, often thick and hard in those days, acted as a container to help preserve the meat fillings inside for days, or even weeks. Today, the brick-like pastry from yesteryear is being replaced by flaky short crust, made with plain flour, butter, a pinch of salt and cold water. Popular savoury pies to try are steak and ale, steak and kidney, chicken and mushroom, and of course, various vegetarian versions. Pasty. I actually grew up eating pasties, though they weren't English ones. My grandmother used to make Croatian-style pasties with meat and potatoes. That's not too different than what you'll find in a pasty in London. Pasties are made by filling a short crust pastry circle with uncooked meat and vegetables, then folding and sealing the edges before baking it. The filling is made with beef, diced potatoes, turnip, and onions and is seasoned with salt and pepper. It's the English take on an empanada, one of my all-time favorite street foods. This simple yet delicious pastry is regarded as the national dish of Cornwall and is responsible for up to 6% of the Cornish food economy. Pasties are made with various fillings, and you can pick whichever you prefer when buying from a pastry shop. Afternoon tea. According to royal chefs, Queen Elizabeth II takes a break at 4 p.m. daily to enjoy a cup of Earl Grey or Darjeeling, accompanied by a selection of cakes, scones and jam pennies, bite-sized delights of white bread filled with raspberry jam and cut to the size of an Old England penny. This quintessential British experience is also embraced by the public and visitors alike, and many establishments now offer sumptuous sweet treats in a gilded tiered stand to satisfy your mid-afternoon craving. Chicken Tikka Masala. In 2001, British Foreign Secretary Robin Cook famously said that chicken tikka masala is a true British national dish, as it is a perfect illustration of the way Britain absorbs and adapts external influences. He wasn't wrong, of course, as chicken tikka masala has been voted as Britain's favourite dish multiple times. This gloriously delicious Indian curry, with chunks of grilled chicken swimming in a spiced and tomato-based sauce, is available in curry houses and even in some pubs. Sticky toffee pudding. This is also known as sticky date pudding and is my favourite British dessert. Wrap your taste buds around this. Sticky toffee pudding consists of a moist sponge cake made with chopped dates and drenched in a buttery, creamy toffee sauce. It is mostly served with vanilla ice cream or vanilla custard. This iconic British dessert has a very light, fluffy texture that collapses in the mouth. It is indulgent, and if you are sweet-toothed, you should definitely try it. I first had sticky toffee pudding in Scotland, sacrilege, but have chased it all over the world. The above photo is from Sunday Roast in Richmond, in West London. Eton Mess Trifle. This is another scrumptious traditional English dessert. It is made up of softly whipped cream, marinated strawberries, and crumbled crisp meringue. For those familiar with British desserts, it looks a lot like trifle. Eton mess originated from Eton College and was initially served as strawberries or bananas mixed with ice cream. Even today, you can make Eton mess with any other tropical fruit. This English dessert was served at the annual cricket match at Eton College and has since become a well-loved London food. Vegan cake. Animal rights group PETA calls London the most vegetarian-friendly city in the world, while Happy Cow, an online directory for vegan and vegetarian restaurants, crowns London the world's most vegan-friendly city. Indeed, demand for plant-based dishes has seen a great number of vegetarian and vegan restaurants appear in recent years. Within this boom there is also demand for sweet vegan treats. We know, because we have become rather good at ordering vegan cakes for every office function. Do subscribe Travel and Taste channel and like videos. For further videos, stay connected.